Driving the pre-refresh model was like wrestling a rabid badger. Fun, but it could bite your head off. And the new one is pretty much the same, only more powerful and more savage. So on the exterior, BMW has changed exactly nothing. The wheels, I think, are different. You can still get them in dark gray or lighter silver, which I would totally prefer, whichever color I would go for. But regardless of color, this car still looks just as good as it did when it came out a few years ago. It's still one mean-looking M BMW. And it packs one hell of a punch. The visual changes are kept to a minimum inside as well. I only spotted the new design M steering wheel, which has a flat bottom and some slight detail changes here. And I think it's a bit thicker than before, which I don't mind, to be honest. I like myself a big, thick steering wheel. This car is still an M4 with a shorter wheelbase. It's around 50 kilograms lighter too, but you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Maybe knowing that it's a bit lighter, you might think you feel it, but I don't, to be honest. The wheelbase is around 10 centimeters shorter, and you do feel that though. The steering feels a little bit pointier, although that might have something to do with the fact that the M4 has xDrive now, which corrupts some of the steering feel. And you can't get the M2 with xDrive yet. That's coming next year, with likely an even bigger power bump. So the M2 LCI gets 20 more horsepower than before. And the automatic version now has 600 Newton meters. That only shaves 1/10 off the claimed acceleration time. So this sprints to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.1 seconds as opposed to 4.2. But frankly, I can't tell the difference. I mean, the old M2 with 460 horsepower was savage enough. My tester today is a bit louder because it has the optional titanium exhaust. And you know it has that option because the exhaust arrangement in the back is different. So the tips are differently arranged and they have a titanium-ish, brownish type finish, which makes them look quite special. And this is definitely louder than the standard exhaust. And thankfully it doesn't drone. Car has such a recognizable howl from the S58 engine. There's nothing quite like it. It sounds really different from the B58 that BMW uses in lesser M cars. So now this is an M high performance, and something like an M340i is an M now. But this sounds a lot more aggressive than that. It sounds more industrial. That sounds smoother and more caramelly. This sounds more like a race car, which, if you read the press release, is something BMW is going for with this car. The engine has all sorts of forged internals and race car engine techniques applied to its construction. And And the result is a true mountain of power and torque and performance and noise and drama. So let's see what it feels like to accelerate to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.1 seconds. It hooked up quite well there, but it still short shifted into second to avoid squandering the power. You feel the rear in this car settling as you accelerate it hard, even at higher speeds, even in fourth gear sometimes. It's definitely an intimidating car to drive, at least at first. I mean, after I don't drive an M for a while and then I get in a rear-wheel drive car like this one, I do take it a bit slowly at first, just to build my confidence. It doesn't quite feel like it's gonna bite your head off, like its F-Series predecessor, which was a lighter and a lot more, I wanna say, tail-happy car. This feels more planted, and I think the facelifted car is even more planted than before, and even though it has more power, this example that I'm driving today certainly is able to put its power down better than the light blue car that I drove last year. It's probably just down to the tires. This has Michelin Pilot Sport 4S front and rear, and they make it fairly civilized, and when it does let go, you can quite easily control it. The standard transmission is an 8-speed torque converter automatic, which you can take control over with the big paddles behind the steering wheel. I don't notice anything different here. It's just as good as before. If you want, you can pay 2,000 euros extra for a manual transmission, but from what I've heard, the automatic is the one to go for. Plus the manual car, even though it gets the power bump to 480, it doesn't get the full 600 Newton meters that the M2 LCI gets with an automatic. If you're a driving enthusiast, you really can't fault this car. It's one of the best things on four wheels. One thing I do notice in comparison to a car with the B58 is that that engine has a bit less turbo lag than this. If you lean into this from lower RPMs, nothing really happens, and then a second later the boost builds and you are catapulted into the stratosphere. But driving this is truly an event, although I'm not sure if I would pick it over an M4. And after driving an M4 with xDrive and seeing how that car is still pretty tail happy and very willing to swing its tail out, it's also a lot more controlled and much better able to put its power down than this, and it feels considerably faster. This couldn't keep up with a new M4 with all-wheel drive and with 530 horsepower, especially considering there's hardly any weight difference. Frankly, the M4 with xDrive blew my socks off, more so than this car. Although I do prefer the way this car looks. There's an aftermarket front bumper that you can buy, which makes this look more like a BMW from the regular non-M lineup, but I don't like it. I think that BMW's designers did a good job differentiating this from any lesser 2 Series. And there's nothing quite like it on the road. I know I like the way this looks better than an M4, but that's just a better all-around car, to be honest. It's a bit bigger, you have a bit more room for rear passengers. I'm 183 centimeters tall, and I could just about barely fit behind myself. And with these optional carbon bucket seats that this car has, going even lower than the standard ones, it's even more difficult to slide your feet underneath the front seat. So sitting in the back of one of these would be akin to torture for me. But it's still pretty practical. It has a decently large trunk. It's about as practical as any sedan in this size category would be. And even the carbon seats, they are an absolute pain to climb over to get into the driver's seat. But once you're aboard, they're actually not that bad, to be honest. And they are much better than the standard sport seats at holding you in place. I really like this car. And I'm happy BMW still makes an M2. And if you keep it in M dynamic mode, so it's with the electronic nannies turned off about halfway, it's not the worst. I mean, it can still bite your head off, no questions asked. This is a savage car, and the shorter wheelbase does make it a bit, I don't know, twitchy, I guess, or darty. But if you drive it a little bit, you get used to it. You start to appreciate this character, and you begin to enjoy playing with the rear. Fantastic machine. And this is definitely the purest M experience you can have today. After the disappointment that was the M5, the G99 Touring that I drove, getting into this feels like stepping into another dimension. Yeah, I know that's a big plug-in hybrid and it's unfair to compare it to this, but that's not a very good M car. And this is a fantastic M car, so yeah, I'm comparing them. So the M2 now starts at around 76,000 euros or thereabout. But BMW has made some things optional, like the carbon roof, which will cost you around 2,000 euros now. But it's a must because it shaves weight off the top of the car, so it drops the center of gravity, improving the handling. You definitely want that. My tester costs over 100,000 euros because it looks like it crashed through a shed full of carbon M performance bits, many of which I personally don't like at all. But they don't really change the driving experience. I mean, they don't change it at all. If anything, they make the car a bit heavier. I frankly wouldn't really put any options on this. I even just buy it in the base white. Although I can't help but think that when I was on this exact road driving a M440i X-Drive, I was able to play around with it a little bit more without it feeling as intimidating as this does. And I remember thinking at the time that that is enough M car for pretty much anybody. I kind of want to see what the M2 with X-Drive is going to be like. I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be the best one. Sure, it's going to be a bit heavier, but this is already pretty heavy, so hey, what's a few dozen extra kilograms, right? Until then, I will leave you with some more S58 music. I've been Andrei, this is One Tire Fire, my car enthusiast focused channel where I am a one-man team making car videos for enthusiasts such as yourself and such as myself, because I sometimes re-watch my videos to remember what certain cars are like. Thank you for watching.